Okay, 3, 2, 1. I am online with the AYA KAMANAKAI, right?
Yes, you got it.
Yeah, amazing. I'm very happy to have you here. Yes. So, from where are you calling, actually?
So right now I'm in Samothrace, Greece. I just finished up a training here a few weeks ago, but I live on Maui, Hawaii.
Okay, that's where your name is coming from, right?
Yes, correct.
Beautiful. So, I am in Brussels, in Belgium. Okay,
Mhm.
and we are lucky is a sunny day here and there. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So Aya, you are a ISTA faculty.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we are doing this interview, of course, because very soon you will co-facilitate an amazing training in Bulgaria. The
Yes.
man, yeah, beautiful. So this is an opportunity to let to let share what you do in your life, what's your gift, okay, what you are bringing in this training, and yeah, your meeting with the ISTA. What does it mean to become ISTA faculty? Okay,
Sorry, was that a question?
it was like an introduction to the
Oh, got
question.
it.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm curious to know what you just finished. So give
Um,
us context about what you just finished.
right. So I just finished a body of work called the Shamanic Womb Journey. And
Hmm.
it's a lineage that's passed down, transmitted through Janine Ma-ree, who used to be one of our lead faculty. And she was actually passing the lineage down to me and another colleague. So it was women's work of really vibrating into the subtlety of our womb space and really finding the ecstatic current through like upwelling from the emptiness, you know.
Hmm.
Mm.
Beautiful. And I think Samothraki is not by chance, as a choice.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Hmm.
No, it's definitely an island that holds the feminine codes. Mm.
Yes, yes, very ancient Greek mysteries there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I never been there. Do you still feel the energy of the island? Is
yeah, absolutely. It's
beautiful.
powerful here. Mm.
How much is important the choice of the venue of the place?
Oh, for me, it's always the land that calls, you know, for me, it's always the land that calls. And, you know, this will be my first time to Bulgaria, heading to the Bulgaria training. And I'm really curious about what the culture's like and what the land is like and what it is about that country and those people that called ISTA there.
Hmm.
Mm.
Beautiful, beautiful. I have the same curiosity actually. I never been to Bulgaria, and the fact that that is happening on mountain, that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm.
And you coming from an island that is a mountain going into the ocean, right? So
Yes.
the energy of the mountain. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your connection with the mountain, nature, and
Oh, well, I come from an island that is one giant mountain. You know, Haleakala is the volcano that created Maui. And so for me, I feel really connected to the volcanic.
mm,
What, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, Bulgaria must be, the mountains there must be volcanic because there's thermal pools, you
mm,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, or
yeah.
maybe I'm wrong about that. I know that there's spas. The one of the fun things about the Bulgaria venue is that it's a spa, you know, and so we're going to be able to be with the waters all week long, and there's something really special about that, connecting around the waters.
You might be completely right. Absolutely. Yes, yes. I'm not sure about the volcanic side, but I should check this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. I want to ask you, since when you are ISTA faculty, how ISTA came into your life, or how you came into the life of ISTA? How it happened?
Yeah, so I've been in the faculty for maybe 3 years now. And for me, it just came into my life at a time when I was really coming home to my own body, to my own sexuality. Really, you know, I grew up a Christian, and so I was very, very repressed, had a lot of shame around my sexuality. And I found myself as an adult feeling totally lost, you know, like, what do I do with this part of my life? And totally disconnected, had never had an orgasm, was dissociating all the time. And so I went on a deep journey of self discovery around my sexuality. And it was right around that time that I just heard somebody say the word ISTA. And I was like, huh, I think I'm supposed to do that, you know? And it was one of those like, I I choose a lot off of instinct. And so I heard the word. They gave me like just a few lines on it. And I went to the website and started looking at flyers until one just jumped at me. And I was like, okay, that one, I'm doing that one. So it really felt like kind of a calling that came out of the blue, you know, and I went to my first training not knowing a whole lot about it. Like I knew it was about sexual healing and transformation, but I really had no idea what I was going for. You know, I had no idea what the experience was going to be like. And for me, going to my first training, it just felt like a coming home. Like, wow, there's people in the world who stand for this. Wow, there's people in the world who are really willing to courageously face the deepest parts of who they are and to unashamedly live life, you know, in its fullest. And not just in regards to your sexuality, but all of the shadow stalking, the reintegration of core wounds and childhood stories. And, you know, ISTA has a lot more to offer than just the sexual healing aspect. I feel like a lot of people come because they hear whispers of the word sex, you know, but it's the spiritual, sexual, shamanic experience. There's 3 S's, you know, and people forget about the spiritual and the shamanic part a lot, but there's so much more that goes on a training that goes wider than just the realms of sex, you know.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I really feel the nature and the naturality of your immersion into ISTA, and I love this. Yeah, this thing around the deconditioning. You know, so I would love you to open a little bit, to unpack a little bit this question of deconditioning, not only the sexual aspect, but maybe also other dimension of the experience, and yeah, how as facilitator, how do you transmit this? No, because I guess you meet also a lot of resistance, no, and how you open.
First, how do I transmit the work of ISTA?
Yeah, yeah, your own experience that someone that's passed through this deconditioning phase, no? Yeah.
You know, I feel like we're all conditioned to believe all kinds of things all the time. And so it's all like a remembering the core of who we are. You know, so it's not so much that people are coming to ISTA to be deconditioned. It's that people come to ISTA because they recognize that there's a much more fuller way to live life, you know, and whether that's through facing their fears, integrating their shadows, you know, through letting go of body shame and letting go of shame and fear around their sexuality. It's like it's a place to really explore and bring to aliveness all the pieces of who you are.
So beautiful said. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Can you share with us what really excites you in this training, this journey? What really is the moment or the part that makes you really excited? Yeah.
So, you know, a comment that I get a lot from participants is that they go home feeling like they're a completely new person. And there's a point like somewhere around halfway through the training where you look around the room and you're like, oh, where did these people come from? You know, it's like their faces are more relaxed, they're more in their body, something in them. It's like, it's not that we're changing them, it's more that they're remembering more of who they are, right? And as they start to step into more of their power, more of their confidence, they allow more of themselves to be seen. So it's almost like the entire room is coming more and more alive all the time. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Yeah.
I understand. I'm also curious to ask you where this, because you are now in Samotrak, you just finished this journey with Janine, how this exploration of the womb meet ISTA, in which part, how this journey that you are doing with the Janine, how it meets the journey with ISTA. Yeah.
It's the journey with ISTA. I mean, in ISTA, we recognize in ourselves that regardless of what gender you're born into, or what gender you identify with, or what gender you've become, that there's a masculine and a feminine energy that lives inside of all of us, you know. And so that's something that we dive into really deeply, is really integrating both sides in a healthy and conscious way, right? So that for a lot of women, it's like they've denied their masculine, or they've not recognized how much of the masculine program is running. And for a lot of men, it's the vice versa, right? So the more that we can recognize that actually we're all multidimensional beings, and inside of me is an inner masculine and an inner feminine. And the way that these two polarities dance together, that's what makes me whole, actually. And so often when we don't recognize that, then our inner feminine or our inner masculine goes into the distortions or into the shadow. And then it's running programs that are outdated or running things from the back end, you know? So it's kind of like one of the things that we do in ISTA, I feel like, is we bring so much out of the shadow and into the light. You know, we bring all the pieces of us that are running in the subconscious, and we say, here's the space. Face all of you. You know, face all the parts of you that you've been hiding from. Face all the parts that you've been afraid to look at that maybe you haven't recognized in yourself. And some of that is also, you know, oftentimes when we talk about shadow hunting, people think it's like, oh, I have to go out and look at all the ugly pieces of myself and the parts that I don't want to look at, you know? And of course, that's going to be there. But a lot of the times, what's in the shadow is actually your deepest power, the things that make you brilliantly you, you know, the parts of you that you've been too scared to own. And so ISTA also feels like a space for people to really find more of who they are, the full spectrum of it, the ugly, the disgusting, the wild, the full of pleasure, the powerful, you know, all of that is welcome and really given space to express itself.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. So well said. So well said. Beautiful. I was thinking while you were talking that this journey into become whole it's amazing journey. It's beautiful and so complex, no? It requires time. And most of the time, my experience, people I met, sometimes they are even not used to breath, you know, to make a sound. And yeah, and it's beautiful to see how from that level, from that moment, you know, after quite immediately they are able to open those other dimensions and expand themselves. And yeah, I'm really grateful for ISTA bringing this magic, this training all around the world. What does it mean for you to come back each time to Hawaii? What's your life there? How your life changed after ISTA there? Yeah.
For me, Hawaii and Maui in particular is my chosen home. So it's where I'm really dropping my roots. You know, it's my home community. We just did 2 ISTA trainings there on Maui this year. We just seated for the first time, and there's a small community of us growing there and meeting together every single month. And so for me, Maui is the land that I love, that I've really kind of devoted myself to and given myself to. And I know that it's my home, you know, and I feel like having that home base allows me to bounce around the world. Like sometimes my travel schedule feels like, you know, I tell other people where I'm going and they're just like, I'm spinning just from hearing it, you know? And it's like I get to do all that because I also know that I'm anchored and have roots in a land that I love and in a land that supports me.
Is this crazy, no? That yeah, once you are in ISTA, no, and you became a faculty or you are part of teams, etc., you became a global being. No, you are called to fly, to travel all around the world, no, and to bring something, but as well to collect information, people, energies. That's very powerful. That's very strong, no?
Yeah, well, and in a lot of ways, I've always been a global being, you know. I was born in Japan and I moved to America when I was 7. And so it's like different cultures, different lands, they've always spoken to me. And in some ways, it took longer for me to really find that anchoring point of home, you know. And so, yeah, it feels like having that home, like a physical place on this earth that can give me that reference point. Because really, we're at home in ourselves, right? But it's like the connections that I have with the land that I love so much, it gives me that reference point of feeling that sense of home in my own body and that sense of belonging to the world. And, you know, that feeling also of being given, like being given to a land, being given to a calling, being given to the people of the land. Yeah.
this topic of to feel at home is very important to me in this moment of my life. So I would love to ask you, is something that you felt physically in your body, or is something that happened, or that's, I don't know, what you could transmit me about this? How was
Home.
your experience to say, okay, this is home?
Yeah. So what I can share with you is that for me, it started as a frequency or a feeling in the body
Mm,
before I actually knew where it was. And actually, it's funny that you're asking me this question because I'm here on Samothraki. 5 years ago, I came to Samothraki for the first time, and I was supposed to be here for 2 weeks, and I stayed for 2.5 months. And it was during that time that I was actually really laying down some deep prayers about where in the world am I meant to drop my roots?
mm,
Where is this home of mine? And at that time, I was really deeply connected to the Hawaiian Islands, but wasn't entirely sure that, yeah, Maui hadn't really presented herself yet, self yet. And during those 2.5 months here in Samothraki, it's like some part of me melded with the land here. And even though I knew this wouldn't be the physical home where I would live all the time, there was something around the frequency of home that transmitted to me the sense of belonging, the senses of deep relationship with the land,
mm,
relationship with the nature and with the animals and the wild elements here.
mm,
And it felt like that vibration, once I knew how to locate it in my body, was able to find my actual home, you know.
mm.
Yeah, and within the next 6 months following that journey, I had landed on Maui. I had already kind of the plan was kind of there, but it became very apparent the moment that I touched down on Maui. It was like, yeah, this is the place. I know this vibration, I know this frequency because I've experienced it
Mm,
somewhere else.
mm. Beautiful, amazing. Ah, our time is coming to the end. I want to ask you if there is something else that you want to share about your experience on this planet with the ISTA or for the training. Is there something that you want to mention?
Sure. Yeah, something that I really stand for in the world is the innocence of our pleasure and
Mm,
the innocence of our sexuality. I feel like so much in the outer world, there's shame, there's fear, there's this idea that our sexuality is just the thing that you do to have sex. Whereas the way that I look at sex, our sexual energy is its life force. It's the part of us that just wants to live and live life abundantly. And yeah, it can manifest in lovemaking, but it can also manifest in how we show up in the world, the things that we choose to create, whether it be communities, businesses, families, all of that comes through our sexual energy. And I think that it's been a shame that we have put it so deep into the shadow and made it something that's can't be talked about and that's has to be hidden from sight. And that's one of the brave things I believe that ISTA does is we choose consciously to include sexuality.
mm.
We're not putting it off to the side. We're bringing it into a part of the deeper conversation of self-transformation. And for me, what I've experienced personally in my life is that it's the missing link. Because our sexual energy is our life force, when we suppress it, we're suppressing so much more. We're suppressing such a big part of who we are. And that for so many people who've done ayahuasca and medicine and this and that and counseling and all the different modalities to try to find yourself. For me, this is the key. Our sexual energy is like this little key that unlocks all of it. And
Yeah.
it's my lived experience that when I really started to deepen in my own sexual healing journey, everything opened up. I just came more alive. I felt more connected to my intuition, felt more aligned with my purpose, and all of this comes from this from really being connected to the true source of life, you know, to our erotic body, to our pleasure, to this part of us that just knows how to live fully and vibrantly and brilliantly.
Wow. Thank you very much. Aya, thank you. It has been such a pleasure to meet your volcanic, tender, gentle energy. Yeah, I really wish, yeah, people can meet you during the training and have this beautiful living transmission of that's to mean to embody this life force. Yeah. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. Wish you a beautiful training and see you soon around the world.